The newest book is here, Closer to the Church, the debut novel by author and former mayor Louis Lee Singh, available at all the Home Store branches, Barataria, West Mall, Shogunas and C3 San Fernando. Paper-based bookshop 10 Nook Avenue St. Anne's, WESN 30A Gattaca Street Woodbrook, Metropolitan Bookshop Ariapita Avenue Woodbrook, and all RIK bookstores nationwide. Available online as paperback on Amazon.com and Kindle for e-readers. For more info, call 628-5835 or 389-6504. Also available from author Louis Lee Singh, I Used to Live in Heaven, Letters to My Granddaughters, and Local Government in Trinidad, Conspiracy Against the People.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this: screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Sight, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., only on WESN, Content Capital.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
WESN.
Good morning, all of our valued viewers in Trinidad and Tobago and beyond. Do not adjust your TV sets. Talking Point will be back on Monday. However, For the next month, WSN will give you our latest offering of Carnevolve. And with us today, of course, I have my co-host, Mr. Mark Anthony Peter. Mark.
Good morning, Sean.
And joining us, we have starting from the right, we have R&B performer, Just Liz. Hi. We have multi-instrumentalist soca artist, Mr. Sucre.
Yes, that's correct.
And we have two-time junior monarch, Sharissa Kama.
Yes, hi.
Sharissa.
Kameho.
Kameho.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, I want to just kind of get straight into it a little bit. First of all, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
And it's I will say it's very refreshing to have a lot of young people here.
Yes.
To have these young artists here with us. So in terms of your music, I'm gonna start with Sharissa. So you have your songs like Our Blessed Land. You have Everything We Can, which is the song that you won with Calypso Junior Monarch in 2020. With all of your compositions, what is the message that you want your music to give? Like, what is what do you want people to feel, to know, to hear? What is the message?
I think as I grew up in the Calypso arena, the message at first was to spread the love that we should have for the country, that people kind of be blindsided by other things. So they don't really remember all that we have and, you know, the patriotism, and I try to bring that. But growing up, especially in the recent 2-3 years, you know, with COVID and everything, my message will be, and I want it to be more of showing Trinidad and helping them feel that love for the country, instead of more patriotism, like, come on, let's do this, more of pride, of look at us, we are amazing, and just to be born in this country is such a blessing, you know?
Okay, that's great, that's great. And, you know, Calypso does have that sort of philosophical angle to it always, whether it's satirical, whether it's talking about politics, whether it's about love, heartbreak, all sorts of things. But Sucre, what about you? So you have 2 new songs out.
Right.
You have Oh My Baby, you have Life I Love It, right?
Yes.
You like to have a good time.
This is life and we love it.
Exactly. What's the goal for you and your music?
The goal for me and my music is to find an international sound to what we already have in the Caribbean, because I feel as though soca and music of the Caribbean has been sought after for many, many, many years. And I feel like it's a sound that the world deserves to hear, especially, you see the example with the Afro beats and that stuff, you're seeing that already. So, and I think that soca has a space there, and it's really just for us to give it that effort now.
Okay, yes,
you know?
for sure. Now, Liz, I'm going to admit, now I've been privileged enough to kind of see your journey a little bit, from as early as I think 2017 or 20. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a yes. How has the journey been? And but one of my favorite, and a follow-up question, one of my favorite songs from you is actually Brown Skin. Yeah. so tell me about how the journey has been, and tell me a little bit again about the message of your music, especially with Brown Skin.
Well, the journey has been long, but you know, the journey now starts. So, because I'm not predominantly soca, as you would have mentioned, my journey is a little different than my peeps here. I more contribute to the background vocal scenes of the soca industry. So you would hear my voice on tracks. That is generally my contribution. So it was a little bit difficult getting into the arena because I do R&B. Nobody would come to R&B singer to do background vocals just like that. But little do people know I had classical training. So it kind of helps a little bit when, you know, you come to me, you see I'm doing the brown skin, the interpolations of the Caribbean-esque type of songs, and then boom, you're like, you know, you could probably sing good on a soca track. I'm like, yeah, let me try it and see. So it has been an interesting journey for me to actually get to grace certain songs, and I feel really good about that, so yeah.
The job of a background singer,
yeah,
it always seemed to me like, you know, how do you get that job? You know, like, because not only is it that obviously when you grow up, you're like, well, I want to be a background singer.
Yeah.
But also, like, there's a lot of these jobs that could be quite rewarding, lucrative, that they don't have a clear path. There's no, like, course to take on and there's, you don't even necessarily know what contacts and how to network. What was that like with jobs like that do you see in the industry? Like, is it just something that you just have to happen to fall into, or?
I think like every job, with every job, you need to be putting yourself out there in some type of way to be seen. So there is a level of work that you do have to put in. There's a level of exposure that you do need to get for people to be like, oh, well, yeah, this person I could hear on my tracks, because nobody's just going to come to a vocalist and be like, hey, I know you, I hear you could sing. They need to actually hear you sing to be able to be like, well, this would be a good fit to be on a background track for me, because not everybody can sing background. Some people's vocals are actually for main, you know, in my humblest opinion. Because some people do have very overpowering voice. So it is a kind of technique that you need to have to be able to back up somebody and not overtake their entire track. And you kind of had to know some people sometimes too. So one connection links to the next connection, links to the next connection, and it kind of builds the network for you.
Okay, cool. Now with that was well said. Now with Sucre, those who don't know, we were in class together at UE, right? Big up our year group. But at UE, you know, you're exposed to all sorts of, and just on a tertiary academic level, you're exposed to all sorts of genres.
Right.
And I think do you think that we need to, because I think people have this perception of if you're only soca, then you're only soca, and then you can't transfer your skills elsewhere. Do you think that it should definitely be just one lane, or do you think you should use your talents in as many aspects as possible?
I think it's according to the objectives that you want to set out for yourself. Like, for example, one of the reasons why I actually joined the class was, apart from being able to get the certificate and being able to teach, because that's something I would like to do at some point in my life. But I also joined so that I could get a wider experience of music itself, rather than just with the culture, because there are so many different things that actually come to pass and actually influence our culture in that type of way. So it's really just about getting information, inspiration from various things, and for myself being able to implement it. For example, you know, we did voice, we did vocals. So with soca particularly, because of our genre, there isn't really much dynamics or diversity in terms of how you deliver on an audio. So I wanted to see how best I could take what I learned from school and try to implement it in my delivery when recording vocals. Okay,
and that's a good point. And I think another way we can add dynamics is with our lyrics, is the lyrics that we put into our compositions. I want to ask you a little bit, Sherissa, what is some of your, like, what's the process like for you when coming up with the lyrics for your songs?
It's a very interesting question. My family has been involved in music from birth, I guess. And it's really my father, Enrico Camijo, who is the musician, the lyricist, you know, the one who composes the music and writes the lyrics, as well as my mother. And
big up mommy and daddy.
Yes. And I guess, I say it's interesting because there's no process. Sometimes we know competition time's coming up, Carnival's coming up, so we know we want a song. And sometimes Daddy just gets the idea. And they're such creative people that once they get the music, he might hear something and he might start recording it or playing it on his guitar, and they just follow the music and the lyrics come based on what message we want to sing about, and they just flow. They flow, and he's very creative in composing. So he kind of gets the right words, the right lyrics. He has this app with vocabulary to get, you know, the right rhymes and stuff. So he would get the so he would kind of perfect it like that and stuff. So that's really the process.
All right, nice.
Well, we have to take a break, But as we do so, we have a little snippet of Life I Love It by Mr. Sucre himself there that we want the audience to appreciate. And I mean, it has a nice hook. It has a nice hook. So folks, let's just take a little bit of this song as we go to break.
Cause mighty lovely taking over like an invasion. No holding back this round. This kind of vibe was made for loose behavior. All the girls them come to play hard, so just move out of me way. And I come in here with intentions to mash up the whole place. I forget tear and rip up my energy past the sky. Oh Lord, I'm out of my mind. Oh, this is the life.
Like many others trying to save on Carnival, Gabby thought she should go for 50% off makeup.
What about the other side? Well, Daisy 50% off offer. So you know.
No makeup artist we don't know. What we do know is the savviest savings for Carnival are at KFC. Get a Jab Jab box, 1-piece chicken, 1 regular fries, and a biscuit for only $25.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit? Yes. What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive. It is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole. It's for all of us in public.
My name is Carl Media, and I'm the founder and the host of Ever Increasing Voice Ministries. Join me every Saturday and Sunday on WESN, this powerful station, at 9 a.m. on Saturdays, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. nightly. Also on Sundays, I'll be on at 7 a.m., 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. at night time. When you come here, we are getting people heavenly ready.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
The newest book is here, Closer to the Church, the debut novel by author and former mayor Louis Lee Singh. Available at all the home store branches, Barataria, West Mall, Shogunas and C3 San Fernando. Paper-based bookshop 10 Nook Avenue, St. Anne's, WESN 30A Gattaca Street, Woodbrook, Metropolitan Bookshop, Ariapita Avenue, Woodbrook, and all RIK bookstores nationwide. Available online as paperback on Amazon.com and Kindle for e-readers. For more info, call 628-5835 or 389-6504. Also available from author Louis Lee Singh, I Used to Live in Heaven, Letters to My Granddaughters, and Local Government in Trinidad, Conspiracy Against the People.
This is the life, I love it. I don't want nothing else. So sweet like a fetish. My hands up in the air. This is the life, I love it. I don't want nothing else. So sweet like a fetish. My hands up in the air.
That, of course, is Life I Love It by Sucre.
Wow. He did not hear what he said.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. My apologies, Mr. Peter.
Right, that was Life I Love It by Sucre. Thank you everyone for joining us. Welcome back to Carnevolve. All right, so we spoke about careers. Now, something that I want to mention. So, Sharissa, you're a year 3 psych student at UE, right? Mr. Sucre, you are Mr. Sucre. You are a graduate of the Bachelor of Musical Arts from the UE Department of Creative and Festival Arts. And Liz, you are a year 1 student at you're doing your Bachelor of Fine Arts at the Academy of Performing Arts at UTT.
Yeah.
So and it's great that a lot of y'all are educated, right? And I think a lot of people don't really, some people have the perception of if you're a musician, then you do this maybe for fun, maybe you do this for like, just for the vibes of it. But making it a career it requires a lot of bravery, in a sense. And so Liz, I want to ask you, what are some of the brave steps that you're willing to share that you have had to do to make this career work for you?
Well, I actually had to go to school.
Yes.
But not with UTT, but before I went NESC to do song engineering and music production. So that was kind of the start of it, where it kind of got me in the door of meeting people and actually learning my voice a little bit more, learning the technical side of things. As well as performing more, entering a bunch of competitions. It's very difficult, and you have to have a certain level of discipline to be able to be in this career, because being an artist, if you want to make it a full-time something, you really have to understand that this is what it is. It's not something that is seemingly people coming in. It's not for the vibes. You actually have to be able to put yourself out there to try to make some form of money, because you want to live off of this. At the end of the day, you want to be able to lie down in your nice queen or king size bed and drink your mimosas and be like, yeah, this is the life I want to live the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So the steps I would have taken is going to school, putting myself out there, messaging people who I never thought I would have messaged in my entire life. Like, like it's very difficult because I have anxiety. So actually putting myself out there is very, very
And the
hard.
interesting thing, I think people don't, some people don't understand, you're going to school, especially if you're doing anything in the performing arts, you're going to school, but you also have to do all of the practice outside of school. You have to do all of their practice outside of school. Now, Sharissa, we have, now, like I said, psychology major, right? What brought you to that?
Everything that I've ever really done in my life has always been a urge. Like, I've always done things that I felt I was being called to do. And psychology was something I've always been interested in before I even knew what psychology really was. I was always interested in people and understanding why they did that or why that person thought that way. And it actually stemmed from my family because it's 6 of us in my family, and all of us are different, yet the same. And I had a lot of questions, like, how come this happened, but this didn't happen with this person? So when I did my first year of biology, and I didn't really enjoy it as much, I just felt like, why didn't I do psychology? I literally do it every day without knowing, with people and helping them and my friends and my family, being the mediator, those sorts of stuff, you know. So yeah, that was the reason.
Now, I find with creative projects, sometimes communication can be difficult, you know, and it's very weird because, you know, especially when you're starting out or when you're younger and you're not necessarily at that heights of professional levels, a lot of it will be with friends, people you know, acquaintances, your family. Do you find that maybe before you even had the formal understanding, you were perceiving how people were acting and responding to you and communicating to you? And now that you've had the formal training, are you looking at the creative process maybe with a different lens? Because, you know, I mean, it's a cliche, right? But bands break up all the time, no matter how successful they are, because of a whole host of personal differences. So do you actually see yourself kind of like changing how you view now the art form with this degree, which is not directly tied necessarily to art?
Not yet. It's very interesting because everything is kind of merged together. I don't, now that I have the technical skills or anything, I don't see it differently where it's like, oh wow, this opened up a new perspective. It's not so clear, but there are things where I see it easier to kind of define certain things that happen in the creative process. Especially since when I started psychology, it was during COVID. So I haven't been back in the music or creative mindset since psychology. So it's difficult to define those things.
Sucre, you on the other hand, you went UTT, UE, sorry, UE. I'm mixing it up, sorry. I can't keep up because some people are involved, they have their hands on everything. You were UE Arts Chorale, right? You broadened your horizons, but you wanted to do soca. It wasn't as though you kind of dipped your toe in everything and then saw at the end, okay, this is what I wanted to do. I saw you wanted to do soca even while being in UE. What was that like to kind of make that decision at the end of the day? Because I'm sure a lot of everybody knows it's not easy to be a performer, right? Definitely. And now, as much as we are the land of soca, doesn't necessarily mean that it's easier for a Trimbagonian to just, it's automatic. You just put yourself out there and success will come, you know? So what was that thought process like?
My thought process, really, and Julie, was to just go with it, you know, because there are certain things that you might decide you want to do, as well as there are certain things that you see a space for. You know, so you just go with what you think might work, because at the end of the day, this is an industry where you would have to find a way to stand out, you know. So you just go with your gut, because your gut is your gut. It can't be Mark Anthony's gut, can't be Sherisa's gut, can't be your gut. So you just go with your own gut now. So that's really and truly my thought process doing it, and it's really just an experience, you know.
So not many of the traditional soca artists, calypsonians, have the same type of vocal training that you know, a lot of the up-and-coming people have now, right?
Right.
You know, whether it is you were involved with the marionette, so you have an exposure to singing in a different way to calypsonians and soca artists. Of course, you all have formal training. You finished your training.
Yes.
Do you see calypso as an art form? No, sorry, specifically soca for you.
Right.
Because you mentioned you wanted to take it international, and trying to, I think, well, from what you said earlier, I was wondering, is it that the art form in a way is kind of immature? And there's so much places that it could possibly grow if we're willing to kind of, you know, innovate and maybe take elements from older genres that might have figured certain technical things out and modify it for soca. Because, I mean, a lot of soca artists at the end of the day at least voice technique wise, you know,
Right.
you kind of,
I get that.
You kind of wish like, oh gosh, you're damaging yourself when you're shouting that much and doing these things.
I understand.
You know, right? But not
I
just
love how all three of them reacted to
but also that we see music becoming a bit more of a international mixing pot. It's not just regional, right? Although yes, we have new cultures coming out, but do you see soca as something that has so much more that it could grow potentially?
Definitely, I see a lot of room for improvement, just as any other thing, because at the end of the day, in the current state that it is, they could always get better as long as you really look for the improvements. But at the end of the day, in terms of how soca is created, it's more of liberal music in the sense of how you look at it from back in history days, being the liberation of slavery, this, that, the other. Eventually, it got to the parades. You know, so it wasn't necessarily anything as rigorous, so to speak. You know, it was really for the poor man, as Calypso was originally the poor man's, poor man's new.
Just like Pan.
Yeah, you know, it got from one stage to the other, and so it will continue to grow. You know, so we really have far to go with it.
Okay. Now I want to ask this question because I think it's something that kind of gets overlooked a lot of times. How important is personality for you? Like the personality that you present, the personalities of the people you work with, and the personalities of the people you surround yourself with and choose to work with as well.
Ooh, that's a layer.
Can I answer this one first?
Sure.
Especially from the Calypso arena. There is a lot of rumor, I'd say, about bad mind in Calypso especially. So it is very important that you surround yourself with people that you trust. You have to have good instincts, because sometimes you meet people and immediately you're like, I should keep my distance. And sometimes you meet them and you're like, this is someone I feel has experience in this arena, I could trust them and stuff. And that's why it's very important, very, very important, to know who you are dealing with. In terms of my own personality, I am not the typical Calypsonian. You know, there's only one other Calypsonian from Holy Name, Heather McIntosh.
Yes.
And she is, even though we went to the same school, she's still different from I am. I feel like I'm more of a reserved person, very calm. And the first time I went out into the Calypso arena, people were like, she has a Disney voice. She can't sing Calypso. Oh, wow. And I was just like, I mean, I was young, so I didn't really take it on. But my parents, they were like, you know, this is why you need to do it. And so that is why my personality is, I feel like it's different. It is exactly what Calypso would need. This is the type of thing that would take Calypso to the next level. People of different backgrounds, people of different personalities coming out and singing Calypso as a joint art form that we all have together as Trinbagonians. And
instead of just gatekeeping the sound of what
especially to a certain type of person, you know, a certain look.
A certain type of sound, especially.
Yeah.
Right.
So, that's why it's important to me.
Okay, wow. And I think you've been fortunate to have family around you to sort of support, and I think it's always good. That family that you are born with and the family that you choose as well, right? So what about Liz? What about you? How big is personality? Because in the soca, things could get very awkward in a studio.
Yeah.
Things could get very, very awkward in a studio depending on who you work with, and it's always important for the performer, for the singer, to be as comfortable as possible.
I am a huge advocate for positive energy. Like, those who know me, I consider myself a sunflower because I just love good vibes all the time. So I surround myself, I try to surround myself with people with good vibes. But because I'm such a positive voice or a positive force sometimes, negative things tend to come into your space because for some reason, opposites attract.
It's a law of nature, unfortunately.
Yeah, for some reason it attracts to me. So I I try my best to weed out those who are not, you know, positive or have good energy or good intentions for me. And it's definitely a process. It's very important to have a good foundation, a good backing, you know. Having negative people or negative people in the studio with you working upsets the entire feng shui of that session. You like, even if your producer, if your producer is having a bad day and he shows it, that upsets the entire flow of the session. And it just makes the sound come out so horrible. So I would encourage everybody, for the love of God, please have good energy around you and be a positive person like me. I try my best. My personality is more of a positive kind of vibes. I bring a kind of wajang-ish energy sometimes. To say that's how I am now.
I would have never looked at positive and wajang in the
same. Yeah, but everything is up for interpretation in terms of the way how you could bring across wajang in a song would be different. How you bring across wajang when you are just presenting yourself to the public. You understand? You would know you need to have, that's the correct word that I need to be using. You understand? Free spirit.
Yes. Also, I know, and even for Liz as well, and being having academic training, you kind of are blessed with, because your classmates tend to look out for each other, because at the end of the day, we realize we all collect the same paper at the end of the day. So let's all help each other. So how has that experience been for you? Mr. Sukri?
I can answer it or you can answer the same question.
There have been many times doing homework just before it's due. Anyway, that's not good.
That's all programs. That's all programs, right? You know how many projects I had to do? 2 degrees. You know how many projects I had to do last month? But Sukri.
Oh my God.
But yeah, because you see, most times you'd always catch musicians being musicians, you know, in and outside of the classroom. So there's always a connectivity among each other. Is really a pair thing. It's beyond just your program or whatever, just wanting to help, but that's just how musicians are.
But you're in the industry, and not everybody in the industry is a musician that you have to work with. What about that?
But there's still a common love, as I said, in the same way that we have an academic understanding and a passion for it. It's the same way that myself as well as other soca creatives have a love for the art form. You know, so there is that understanding once you see you start getting down to the creative side of it. Well, as well as being a music producer, I'm also the person in charge of ensuring that the vibe's nice in the studio. You know, I'm basically like
take the lead.
The DJ for the party, but in the studio. I in charge of the vibe and making sure that everybody's comfortable so we could get to work and get the creative juices flowing and that kind of goodness.
Good. Well, folks, we have to take a next break, but we do have one of our junior Calypso Monarchs compositions. They are Blessed Land by Charissa. Yes, there we go. So we'll go out with this song, lyric video. Has a good message that's even applicable now. Take a listen.
I sat one day in class with my buddies in the middle of social studies with our teacher debating national unity. She said ignorance and racism overshadow patriotism, and we've lost our appreciation of the anti. I tell Miss that's just a sad delusion. Trinbago ain't dropped to such levels yet, no disrespect. We can't let a few bad apples spoil the barrel. Miss asked me instead why I think nationalism not dead. Here's what I said, 'cause we're living under a red sun shining down on our white waves.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
I am Rondell Donowa, attorney at law and host of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Strictly Legal is a legal program geared towards informing you, the public, of your legal rights, responsibilities, and remedies. So be viewing Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
My name is Carl Media. I am the founder and the host of Ever Increasing Voice Ministries. Join me every Saturday and Sunday on WESN, this powerful station, at 9 a.m. on Saturdays, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. nightly. Also on Sundays, I'll be on at 7 a.m., 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. at night time. When you come here, we are getting people heavenly ready.
Young at heart, purpose-driven, patriot even. When you like to party, but are still passionate about discussing important issues, the only place where your needs will be met is WESN Content Capital.
Every citizen must work together. Don't just leave it for government to implement. Ban your belly and conserve resources. From Scarborough to Prentice Town, all citizens must be down to build back our nation strong,
Cause we living under a red sun. Now,
I actually found that there were subtle things about the song that were quite genius when you get down to it. Despite the fact that, yes, you were young, and they might have said it's a Disney voice, but to me, part of that is, well, no, she's just singing properly.
Yes. Yikes. Okay. All right. Let me
shade, all of the shade.
Let me just
all of the shade.
Like I was telling them in the break, this song ended up, I teach primary school children, and it ended up in all of my lessons. And so we had to dissect all of it. And then when I got to the first few lines of the chorus, red sun, white, and the white waves, black soil, and they watch me like, what does that mean? I'm like, I know you all did social studies. And then I said, red sun, the national flag. So coming on that note, there's so much good subtleties in there going. So we have a few sort of what we're going to call rapid-ish fire.
Yes, so we want to, let the audience get to know a little bit more about your personality. So we have 9 questions, because here on WSN, 10 questions is trademarked by Andy Johnson, so we could only do 9. We couldn't drop out. We had to. So we have 9 questions here. So I'll ask a question, and each of you will give your answer.
Right. First question, morning person or night owl?
Yes.
So somehow you're both.
Both as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Morning person.
Morning person. Okay. So we have the two undecided that just fooling themselves.
No. I am a morning person and a night owl.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that work?
How do you sleep?
Sleep what? Listen, just you can't sleep.
He likes about entertainer folks. Okay, next question. Right? What's the first concert you all ever attended? Starting with Shirley.
Marionettes. Wait.
Attended.
Wait.
Not performed at, attended.
Did I attend any concerts? I don't think I've been to a concert.
As an audience member, you've never attended a concert?
I've always performed.
You generally don't, especially when you're that young.
Yeah.
That's the first.
I can't remember the name of it, but I was really young and I was in an Bmobile.
Okay,
very young.
all right.
I first ever
that
concert.
answer.
Nicki Minaj when she came down in Trinidad.
What?
Yeah, that was eyebrow.
What's the first concert you could remember specifically?
Remember.
Yeah, being in the audience.
I think it's one that my family did.
Okay.
In San Fernando.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so next question. What is your go-to meal or go-to cuisine? So it's either a specific meal or cuisine.
Cuisine?
Doubles.
Nah. I mean, yes, but like, I fancy. So I like...
We know.
So I like, what is this by Alfredo pasta and chicken and shrimp. Oh my God, I feel for that now, go and buy that.
Okay. Typical Sunday lunch for me. I like soul food.
Oh, okay.
Callaloo, stew chicken,
the whole
fish and
works. The
peas,
full works.
cuckoo, everything?
Yes.
Carbohydrates galore.
Barbecue.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, so would you prefer to read the book or watch the movie?
Watch the movie.
Watch the movie?
Yes.
What about you, Mark? Read the book or watch the movie?
It depends. So if it's Marvel or DC, I'd rather read the book first or read the comics first. And then if it's something else, I'll watch the movie and then read the book after.
Believe it or not, folks, comic books is now in a true part of culture. It's not just for kids anymore.
Correct.
Right, now, biggest musical influence? Or influences, if you have a tie.
I have a couple. Eminem is definitely one for when I'm feeling to complain a lot. Because I'm a songwriter, so I come from a more songwriting perspective. Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, and as of recent, Ari Lennox. Love that woman, oh my word.
Chris Brown, Bruno Mars, Marshall, and Kes.
Okay.
That's me.
I'm not very celebrity person, but musical influences. I'd say David Rudder, Denise Plummer, Patrice Roberts, and Destra. And Faye Ann Lyons.
Okay.
Yes.
What about your musical influence?
So unfortunately, my musical influence is Sting, and I can sing like Sting. So that's he goes there, and I try, and I kind of reach somewhere up there.
You there?
Yeah, I'm like somewhere down there, whereas he goes up there. And his lyrics, he's a former English teacher, so that's a whole different level,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He lectured literature.
Okay. Huh?
He lectured literature.
Yes, he did. He wasn't. Yeah. So. Now, let's go with non-musical. Name someone, so this is more of your general life, who inspired you in your life. Non-musical.
Non-musical. Oh.
You know? An inspirational figure, a world leader, a teacher.
Oh, I'm so sad. There was this, there was this little girl who had cancer, and I was working with her in a children's home, and she was so full of life, and she just did everything that she wanted to do before she actually passed away. I helped her through everything and stuff like that with my movement. Yeah, she still to this day inspires me to push myself to do better.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What about you?
Just life in general, because I see so many things, whether it be the good or the bad, and I'm always inspired to either continue the good things or help somebody to do the good things. Correct. So I'm always inspired by whatever is around me, the life around me, the life I'm yet to live, the people I'm yet to meet, and the experiences I'm yet to have.
We can only reap what we sow. Line from your song.
My primary school choir mistress, Miss Joseph, she was the one who pushed me to sing my first ever calypso. Wow. I was quiet, didn't stand out. Well, I thought I didn't stand out, but she picked me and someone else, and she said, "Trisha, you're going to sing this song." And I cried and cried and cried. And then on Sandfest for the competition, my first ever time singing by myself, I went out on that stage and I just exploded into, I don't even know what. The video is literally on YouTube. If anybody wants to go look for it, it's there. But yeah, Soundfest 2012, and I won the Calypso competition.
Nice.
And I was just like, what? So even to this day, whenever I think about not doing it anymore, I think about her, and I'm like, there was a reason. She saw something.
Love that.
So, yeah.
Big up, Miss Joseph.
Big up, Miss Joseph.
All right, so question number 7. What is the last song you've listened to on repeat? Or, if it's not a song, if it's like an artist or a group, what's the last group whose catalog you've listened to on repeat?
Ooh, this guy named Teeks, he's a brand new artist, and he has a song called Wash Over Me. God, it's a lovely kind of R&B, like gospel-y kind of R&B is real nice.
Sensational by Chris Brown, Davido and Loj, because the reason why I really like Chris Brown is because I see him as one of the truest to the R&B art form, in the sense of him being a vocalist and a dancer and an overall entertainer, as well as I like the way that he stacks his vocals, so that's what I really enjoy.
I recently started listening to R&B a little more. I haven't really been a fan as much, but there's this song called Goodbye, So Long, My Dear Love. I forgot who it's by, but that song, something about it, I love it, and I want to do a cover of it sometime.
So
stay tuned.
Second to last question. One word, well, not one word, but short answer. If your life was a story, what would be the title?
A series of unfortunate events. I am kidding.
It was himself, right? You met yourself, right? You would have met him. Oh, Lord.
I am kidding.
Oh, my God.
I am kidding.
I think deeply for this kind of one.
Okay, well, whoever.
Yeah, pass it on.
Jump in.
Jump
in.
Jump in. Well, okay, yes.
Jump in.
I could see that.
That's so difficult. I feel like there's so much about me that I myself have not even explored.
But what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Yeah.
Because the answer will change
I know
as
for
time
sure
goes on.
it will be a mystery genre. I don't know the title.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diary of a Sexy Black Woman.
All right. Final question.
How do you define success, Teresa?
Success for me is being your truest, most authentic self. Knowing what has been calling at you for so long and being fully that. That is success to me.
So great.
A healthy achievement in your objectives.
Liz?
Being able to lay on my bed with my mimosa sipping on them. That's success. Honestly, it's being able to do anything that you want to do and live comfortably. That's basically it.
Love those answers.
Well, folks, we have to say goodbye to our guest, our inaugural first guest here on Carnevolve, but we do have one last musical item to give you. Of course, Mr. Sucre, you have another offering this year.
Yes.
Oh My Baby, we have the video, so before the break, we'll let you hear a listen and watch a listen of Mr. Sucre's tune.
Baby, oh, if you love me today, I go be there tomorrow. Oh, my baby, oh, you make me feel this way. I go never let you go. Say, hey, girl, let me tell you, you give me love like no one else. Oh, sweet kisses, you know I want all night and day. And anywhere you go, girl, I'm going. Yes, girl, we rolling. And all I really need is one touch, just 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 one touch. From you, my darling, all I really need is one touch, just 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 one touch. Darling, when you're there with my baby there, I want you. When you're there with my baby there, I need you, baby. When you're there with my baby there, I want you, baby. When you're there with my baby there, so baby just come true, let me Hey girl, let me tell you, you give me love like no one else. So sweet kisses, you know I want to night and day. And anywhere you go, girl, I go and go and go and go. Yeah. Yes, girl, we rolling, 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 rolling. And all I really need is one touch, just one touch, just one touch, just one touch.
My name is Carl Media, and I'm the founder and the host of ever-increasing voice ministries. Join me every Saturday and Sunday on WESN, this powerful station, at 9 a.m. on Saturdays, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. nightly. Also on Sundays, I'll be on at 7 a.m., 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. at night time. When you come here, we are getting people heavenly ready.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit? Yes. What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive. It is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole. It's for all of us in public.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Paul?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
All right, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago once again, and welcome back to Carnevolve. Here with us, we have a very, very special guest, someone who I consider a musical giant, and someone who's possibly known me before I can even speak. We have Mr. Christian Seraphim Joseph. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for the welcome. I don't think you have to age me like that, but that's all right.
Yeah, but don't
because I wanted to mention, I don't know if you know, because I did an interview with you at North Coast Jazz, and I remember telling you, Mr. Johnson, Andy Johnson's, his glowing praise for the music, right? And what he felt, you know, it could do, you know, a sign of music in TNT in the future. And one of the things, though, is that I didn't need to wait that long to know about you. I saw you in Cafe Blue. You did a very old school, old-time calypso concert. And I remember kind of like watching you. It was different to see someone here, you know, good technique, good stage presence, you know, just belting out these old-time tunes in a way that I don't know if a lot of people had the luxury of hearing. And I was thoroughly impressed. I was like, hey, this guy, if this guy sings calypso, you know, it takes it just to that next notch, I guess you could say, where now music is evolving. People are more better trained, I guess you could say. There's more formal training. There's more avenues for experience. But also just the way how you commanded the stage in a very simple concert. But I know enough to know that what you did was not easy, right? It took a certain level of experience and skill, and I was thoroughly impressed.
Thank you very much.
And it was because of Mark that recommended I needed to go to an event. Actually,
good work, Mark.
You know, I needed to go to an event for an assignment, and instead of just being an assignment, it was also now, oh, this is a thing.
I was like, hey, what are you doing? He's doing nothing. I was like, okay, come. So I think it was probably one of the first sets of concerts.
In defense?
The first set. What was that? Since then to now, what has that experience been like, putting on your own shows with the amazing talent surrounding you as well, backing you up?
Well, let me start with the amazing talent surrounding me, because I always feel so blessed to have those guys supporting me.
Mm.
They really musically they're giants, and I feel really fortunate to be working with the likes of Theron Shaw and Tony Paul. From time to time, Andre on bass, Vaughn on drums, Nick on drums, Sheena on percussion.
Yeah.
Just, you know, some of them I met first as colleagues working at UTT. Some of them I met as students while at UTT. And all of them, people that I am totally in awe of, their talent, and beyond their talent, how much they appreciate the work and how much they put into the work, and the result is going to be what it is because of who they are.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really fortunate to have them supporting me on the journey.
Well, one of the things we spoke about our previous guests was their background. You know, some took formal music training, some are in the process, some decided to have their academic, you know, studies go in a different direction despite being involved in the local genre of calypso.
Right.
You yourself, you're one of the multi-genre artists, right?
Yeah.
It's in your bio, multi-genre vocalist and composer. But what is it about calypso? Because, you know, when I saw you at North Coast Jazz, it wasn't necessarily old-time calypso. It was a bit more of a contemporary sound that you had. But I saw you, you know, it was authentic calypso. It's not some young guy trying to pretend to be somebody from yesteryear. You had your own sound. What about this genre that you decided? Because in your bio, it's multi-genre vocalist. But before that comes calypsonian.
Yeah. Calypsonian is a big part of who I am. My dad, most people who follow me or know of my work know that my dad was the Penguin. And so I grew up with calypso around me. And not just through him, just my family was a calypso family. My whole household, my extended family. I mean, Chuck Gordon is my cousin. John Boy, the DJ, is my cousin. Their father, Roland Gordon, is one of the folk music heroes of Trinidad and Tobago. And so we've just always been around it. It's been a part of who we are. But beyond that, I think it's a part of who we are as Trinbagonians. I feel that no matter what music you are making, as a Trinbagonian musician, calypso is there. Even if you don't know it, it's there in the vocabulary, and not just the words, but even the musical vocabulary. You think you are making a pop song, and you are. I'm not saying you're not making a pop song, but calypso vocab is there. It's inescapable, and it's something that I embrace because I think it really gives us a true sense of self.
Well, I have to ask, because to some extent we look at the local genres and maybe they're not growing like how we see other regional art forms that weren't big internationally have blown up, right?
Like what, man?
Like, well, reggae, dancehall, Afrobeats, you know. I don't know if, you know, even soca, I mean, we've seen some of the international concerts do well, but to say that it's kind of like broken through. Now with calypso locally, I feel as though, and even to some extent with Steel Pan, you know, after every carnival, there are questions with regards to attendance, the tents, with regards to the compositions of the Steel Pan bands. Like, do you feel as though, you know, there needs to be more new blood, fresh blood, and potentially innovative blood into the art form to kind of, not just keep it going, but also to keep it growing?
Two things. The first is that calypso is a mother music. And so most of those genres that you spoke of have a home in calypso. And calypso was one of the biggest musics in the world long before any of them.
Right.
Having said that, I think things work in cycles. So we need to keep doing the work and wait until it's our turn again. Do the work, make the work as high quality as possible. As long as we keep doing the work and keep trying to do the work well, it's just a matter of time, really. And that's not to say that we shouldn't be, what's the word I'm looking for? Making strategic plans and trying to figure out ways to do this and ways to do that. It's not a lazy approach, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
What I am saying is do the work, do the planning, be ready. Because when the time comes, if you're not ready, it will just pass.
I say it all the time, it's a concept that I have. There's a difference between kind of laying back and passively accepting, as opposed to actively, you know, you're actively being passive. It's not that you're just kind of waiting and, well, we can't do nothing, but rather you're kind of doing the work in the acknowledgement that, okay, it might not be time yet, but we have to still have the foundation. We still have to build it up, right? Because if we're not ready, then we're going to drop the ball.
Ready.
Yeah, and they're going to move on.
You're going to miss the train.
Yep.
Now, on the topic of it developing and being ready, with the new talent that is coming up, with all of the new musicians, the new singers, all of them, that, especially those that are coming out of the tertiary level education sector, how does it feel seeing them and seeing them involve themselves in the sphere of not just Calypso, but in the industry as a whole, especially in Trinidad and Tobago?
Mm-hmm. It's heartening, but it's also, I don't want to use any terms that are too strong, so let me back off from that. Start with it's heartening. Mm-hmm. But I feel that too many of us are not aware of who we actually are and what our history is and what our music is and why it is. Mm. I think there's a lot of absolutely amazing talent floating around this space that doesn't understand us. Mm. And the reason why that is scary is because the responsibility of the artist is to humanize the people, to have the people understand who you are as a person. So if the artists are not trained to understand who we are as a person, then we kind of headed in a scary space.
Would you say that maybe the commercial interests are overshadowing all of those aspects?
Short answer, yes. Longer answer, that's not necessarily a problem.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, nobody wants hungry artists. Hungry artists is not nice. No. we need people paid and fed and happy.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the exact same thing I said, that artists need to recognize the purpose of their work. Mm. And the purpose, one of the purposes of the work is entertainment. Another purpose of the work is financial gain. Yeah. But if you're only concentrating on entertainment and financial gain, you're missing out a really core part of why art was ever made. And the first time art was ever made, it wasn't to make a dollar and it wasn't to entertain anybody. It was to express something.
Yeah, and I think people don't understand, especially one, if they've not been presented the opportunity to understand, but as well as they don't take the time to understand. I think especially in the school, especially in the education sector, educating us about who we are, because it feels like some of us kind of go through a little bit of an identity crisis in a sense where, you know, we're singing all of, we're making all of this music, we're creating all of this art in general, and some of it, like you can even tell, and I'm sure you can as well, those who focus on the surface based on the art they produce, and those who understand or want to understand on a more deeper core level, and it presents in their art. What would you say to that, and to people who saying, okay, I hear you, but he's not saying you don't have to make money, but at the end of the day, understand the art at its core? What do you say to that?
What I would say to them is, we will make more money when we understand ourselves. The strongest culture on the planet Earth today is American culture. And we live in the same hemisphere.
Yeah.
We're highly influenced by them. It is difficult for anyone on this side of the world to overcome that. It's not simple to say, well, why do they know more about themselves? Because we are inundated with American culture. We cannot fight it, really, it just is. But you can't be American better than an American.
Yeah.
So if you have something to sell, and the thing you have to sell is being done better by someone else, why would I buy it from you?
Yeah.
The thing that you can sell better than American is Trinidadian and Tobagonian.
Yeah.
You cannot sell them better than they can sell them.
Yeah.
So my answer to why, in terms of how to make a dollar, you will make a dollar by being you.
I mean, I think you could go to many genres, and you're not just limited to calypso. That might be, to some extent, the passion, the heritage, literally the bloodline.
Yeah.
But you've done, I think you are a musical director of certain theater productions, and you've written songs for them.
Yeah.
So you've experienced, and of course you sing multiple genres.
Yeah.
That authenticity, because I actually find myself finding music in other parts of the world, not American, but because I could, then you read, oh, when they make the music, there's a certain amount of the personality. It's not just random songwriter that's paired, oh, it sounds good with this voice. Yes, commercially that's successful at times, but how far does that reach? I'm seeing now, even in pop music, where the personalities and the true expression of the artist is coming through. And would you say for any sort of entertainment endeavor, that's important?
I think sometimes pop music gets a bad rap. Like, we think it's disposable music.
Yeah.
But pop music is rich. Pop music is rich. And there's a reason it's popular. There's a reason it reaches people. It's because it's very real. And it may not be sophisticated all the time. Sometimes it is. But it's always about telling stories that people want to hear, that people need to hear, that people can identify with. And if it comes from a real place, people will feel it.
Well, because of time, we do want our audience to get to know our guests just a little bit better. So we have some questions that we like to ask you. They could be...
Mark, you laugh and that made me a little nervous.
No. It's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. We have some questions we want to ask you. Of course, you will have the final question, right? But just some general questions so people can get to know, who is the man behind the persona of Seraphim? Just who is Chrison Joseph?
Right.
So first question, morning person or night owl?
Morning person or night owl? I would say generally night owl. However, sometimes when I go to bed early and I wake up early and I get the blood flowing, I'm just like, this is nice, I should try this some more.
I feel the same way. So this may or may not be easy for you, but what's the first concert you ever attended in the audience or as an attendee?
Whoa.
That you can remember.
Yeah, because like I said, I've been around this so much.
So you could have been a newborn.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It would either be a calypso tent or one of my first memories, and as I bring up this memory, I wanna say, rest in peace to a cultural icon, a giant, Norman Fullerton of the Manitoba Performing Company. Yeah. And I think one of the first shows I can remember going to and really being totally enthralled, is the I think at that time they were still being called the Manitoba Performers, production of The Wine of Astonishment.
Okay.
In Queen's Hall.
Wow.
That blew my mind. It's like, what? So that was probably one of the first things I remember. Yeah.
What's your favorite go-to meal or style of cuisine?
It's gonna be so sad. Go-to meals, ice cream.
Some would argue that that's not necessarily a meal.
Flavor.
Chocolate.
Okay, okay.
Good line.
Would you rather read the book or watch the movie? You're so busy in the answer might be
I'm a
neither.
lecturer. I shouldn't say this, but I definitely will watch the movie.
Reading is a dying
No, it's not.
It's not. Yeah. I read when I need to.
So this might be hard for you. Yeah. What's your biggest musical influence?
Besides this
one? No, that's easy.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay, your father.
Sadly, Joseph the Penguin.
Well, you know, fair enough. I mean, you had so many, so I didn't want to assume.
Yeah.
But now, let's go the other way. Non-musically, name someone who inspires you.
Who inspires me? Jesus Christ.
Fair enough. So, what's the last song that you've listened to on repeat, or the last group or musical act whose library you've listened to on repeat?
The last song I've listened to on repeat is a new release from Charlon Bailey. You know Charlon? I don't even know the name of the song, but it is one of Charlon's new releases for Carnival 2024. And he sent it to me. It was playing in the background, and I was like, yeah, that's songing good. But I was busy. I was doing other things. And then the next morning I woke up, I said, you know, let me listen to that song again. And I listened to it, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This song kind of bad, boy. And I listened to it again, and then again, and then again.
Yeah.
So now, second to last question.
Yeah.
If your life was a story, what would be the title?
If my what would be the title of my life?
Just what comes to mind, because, you know, as your life goes on, the title might change. But right now, what do you think the title would be?
Storytelling and a chance to grow.
I could see it.
I
definitely could see it.
I wasn't ready for it, but I can definitely see it. Final question. What does success mean to you? How do you define success?
Well, there are two parts of success for me. I think, you know, in terms of just operating in this world, success is being able to take care of yourself, take care of your family, and feel a sense of having accomplished what you set out to accomplish. But beyond that, I think success for me would be getting to heaven.
Well, I don't know if you will allow me to put you on the spot as we come down to the end of the show. I mean, I have extolled the greatness of your performance abilities at the top of the segment. So now, just, you know, it would be a shame that we have you, that the audience can hear just a little bit of something. Anything that you might want to, that you might want to sing.
Let's go with some Duke. What is Calypso? I'm sure you don't really know. I don't think you know what is really Calypso, because the words that we rhyme and sing is only half the thing. I can show you that Calypso is more than a work of art. It is a feeling that comes from deep within. Sometimes a tale of joy or one of suffering. It's an editorial in song of the life that we undergo. That and only that I know is real Calypso.
Folks,
yeah, you gotta do that outro.
My words cannot do that justice. I'm telling you, those who know will know, right? Trust me on that one. Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Bless, thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, thank you.
Mr. Joseph, I look forward to hearing when you will become the legendary Seraphim.
All right.
Aye.
All right. Well, we had to close the show.
We do have to close the show. It was fun, though.
It was fun, folks. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Carnevolve. And, of course, we'll be here for the next 3 weeks. Every Friday, Mark and I will be speaking to some of the up-and-comers and some of the stalwarts and icons of tomorrow. And maybe a few not so of tomorrow, maybe some of them from today. We hope you enjoyed the music, the vibes, the conversation. Shawn Michael Small, Mark Anthony Peter, Mr. Joseph, thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
This
is Carnevolve of WESN. We're out. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
WESN.
The newest book is here, Closer to the Church, the debut novel by author and former mayor Louis Lee Singh. Available at all the home store branches, Barataria, West Mall, Shogunas and C3 San Fernando. Paper-based bookshop 10 Nook Avenue St. Anne's, WESN 30A Gattaca Street Woodbrook, Metropolitan Bookshop Ariapita Avenue Woodbrook, and all RIK bookstores nationwide. Available online as paperback on Amazon.com and Kindle for e-readers. For more info, call 628-5835 or 389-6504. Also available from author Louis Lee Singh, I Used to Live in Heaven, Letters to My Granddaughters, and Local Government in Trinidad, Conspiracy Against the People.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
I am Rondell Donowa, attorney at law and host of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Strictly Legal is a legal program geared towards informing you, the public, of your legal rights, responsibilities, and remedies. So be viewing Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.